Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Good, tired. It's so nice to see you guys again after a week. So we have completed section 3.2, 3, 4, 5. And your homework, if you didn't do Tuesday midnight, then you have last chance next Tuesday midnight. By next Tuesday midnight, you have your entire chapter 3 homework and quizzes due. So we are going to start 3.6 today. Most likely we'll be able to finish it tomorrow. Even if you don't, definitely will be finished by next Tuesday. And your homework and quizzes for entire chapter 3 due date is Tuesday midnight, February 10th. Okay? And your first exam is February 20th, which is 2 weeks from today. So on Thursday, we are going to have our very first exam on chapter 3 and chapter 4. And then on Friday, you have a PLTL, but you're not going to have your lecture. 2 weeks from today, the Friday we have on February 20, I have a very important exam to take, so I'll be gone. And enjoy yourself. But you have to go to PLTL. Okay?
Is the test going to be multiple choice or?
Nope. Written. And I posted the review sheet on Brightspace for chapter 3 and chapter 4. Half of the exam will have partial credit, half will not. Any other questions, comments, concerns? 19th, 2 weeks from today. And then you have a vacation day, one day. I didn't make the exam yet, but it will be around 15, 10 to 15. And I'm only telling you what will be in the exam. Since section 3.2, I have been telling you what will be in the first exam and also in the final exam. So collect those questions, practice, and it will be fine. You're getting your exam questions before the exam. All the questions I'm telling you will be in the exam, they will be in the exam. Okay, so you're done with all 3.2 to 3.5. So you're starting 3.6. 3.6 is a little bit different than what we did so far. So far, we talked about different types of lines, and now we are going to talk about different types of functions. Not different types of functions, just function. In general, function. So, in order to talk about function, the first thing we do is talk about relation. So a relation like a relationship. So we have a relationship between men and women. So we have a relationship between X and Y value. So if you have a bunch of ordered pairs, we call them a relation. In this ordered pair, we already know the first value is X, the second value is Y, right? That's what makes the ordered pair, X and Y. So all those X values, they give us the domain of our function, and they are the independent variable. We call them input. All the Y values, they give us the range of the function. They are the dependent variable. They depend on the X, and we call them output. Now, a function is a relation. So if you have a bunch of X and Y's, then among all those relations, only those are function where you don't see any repeated X values. It means for every one X, you have only one Y. So a function is a relation that assigns a single value in the range to each value in the domain. So for one X value, you have only one Y value. You cannot have multiple Y values for one X. So if you have that, then it's a function. And if you have a bunch of ordered pair, all you have to do is look at all the X values. If you don't see the same X value more than once, then all those bunch of ordered pairs, they represent a function. And I posted all these things on Brightspace. So you don't even have to take notes like for these. The notes are on Brightspace. Just access them. Can I flip my page? The first page, can I flip? Is it okay? Okay, so now question. We have two questions. The first question has a bunch of relation where we have 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 8, 4, 9. And they want us to find a few things. First, find what the domain of this function, sorry, this relation, what's the range of this relation, and does this relation represent a function or not? And this is from your homework. And in the homework, they also want you to plot the points, but here you don't have to plot the points. The domain. Remember, domain is the x values. So what x values you see in this relation? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see same x value more than once? No. So is it a function? Good job. Yes. Yes, because no x value is repeated, means more than once. Now, how about the range? 6, 6, 8, 9. And even though we see 6 twice, we don't care. In order to be a function, the y doesn't matter. The only thing that does matter is the domain, the x values. They cannot repeat themselves. But on my MATLAB, it says, well, don't waste your energy by writing 6 twice. Just write 6 once. So you can simply write 6, 8, 9. You don't have to repeat. For my MATLAB. Okay? And that's all you need to do. Now the second question. Let me write down the question.
So the domain looks like range is y, and the function as long as the x is
No problem. In B, we have another bunch of relation. It's 6, 1, 6, 2, 8, 3, and 9, 4. So you're going to observe its domain, its range, and figure out whether does it represent a function or not. So what's the domain here now? 6, 6, 8, 9. So do you see same number twice? So is it a function? No. Because 6 is twice. And this thing I call curly bracket. The curly here is a curly bracket. How about the range? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you don't have to repeat yourself. So 6, 8, 9 for my MATLAB. Now what you observe here is that A and B, they are same order pair. They just switch their position. What we have for X is what we have for Y in B. What we have for Y in A is what we have X for B, X in B. So a bunch of order pair, they may not be relation in one setting, but if you flip them, they may become a function. Okay. Any question? Now the same thing, but this time they gave us the plotted points instead of the XY pair. So we have one point is here, next point is here, there, and there. And for B, we have 1 point here, 1 point here, and 2 points there. So you're going to do the same thing. First, you're going to observe our domain. What's the domain in A? Means what x values you see in A. Go ahead. -4, -2, -1, and 1. So this is the x value for the first point. Then this is -2 for the second, -1 for the third, and 1 for the fourth. So do you see any x value repeated? So does this represent a function? Yes. Who would like to try B?
And then there's 2 ones.
-2, 2 ones, and 2. So does this represent a function? Why not? We see ones twice. So this point has x value -2. These, both of them have x value 1. We cannot have more than one same x value. So it fails the condition. So it's not a function. Clear, right? Since these are too easy, so this will not be in the exam. They're too easy. But what will be in the exam is the next topic. What if they give you a bunch of graphs? Instead of points, they give you a graph. Now, how do you know whether you have a function or not? Which line? A vertical line. So in order to test these graphs, we have a method called vertical line test. It means just draw a vertical line through your graph anywhere in the graph and observe how many intersections you have. If you have more than one intersection, it's not a function. So let's say I'm drawing a vertical line here. So how many intersections you see? 2. So is it a function? No. Because we have 2 intersections. That's all you need to do. Whatever graph you have, draw a vertical line through the graph. And then see that vertical line crosses or intersect your graph how many times. If it intersect or touch your graph more than once, it's not a function. So we have a circle, like a circle. And if you draw a vertical line anywhere, either here, 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 if you draw a vertical line anywhere, and then that vertical line crosses your graph more than once, it's not a function. So in our circle, it doesn't matter where you draw your vertical line, it's touching your graph, the circle, twice. More than once means no function. Clear? How would be the next one? Is it a function? Yes. It doesn't matter where you draw a vertical line. With the graph, the line touches only once, or they intersect only once. So the answer here is yes. You can draw a vertical line anywhere. You can draw here, or here, or here, or here, or here. The order doesn't matter where you draw the vertical line. How about the next one? Yes. Come on. I have to restart my word. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, so the last one, you can draw your vertical line anywhere. Let's say I'm drawing here. So the blue graph and the red vertical line, they intersect only once. So it's a function. Any question on this? I have a few more. So who would like to try A? Go ahead. It's a function. How do you know? If you draw a line anywhere, the blue graph and your red vertical line intersecting only once. For B, volunteer. Yes. So draw anywhere. For C, yes. You can draw on the left, you can draw on the right. And now for the tricky one. Go ahead. The last one. Why not? The only way you can draw a vertical line on a vertical line is drawing the graph on top of the vertical line. So this is the only thing you can do. That means you have two lines on top of one another. So how many times they are touching one another? Infinitely many times. They are the same line. So they are touching many times. So it's a smart function because the condition says you can touch only once. If you touch more than once, it's wrong. So any question? So in your exam, I'll give you at least 5 of these. Easy points, right? All I have to do is write yes, no, and draw your vertical line. Just like this. Yes, no, and then show your vertical line. Great. Next, we are going to learn, well, we know which graphs are functions, but what if they don't give us the graph? They give us a bunch of equations. How do you know those equations? Which of those equations are functions? Oh, before that, let me ask you some logical question. So we have increasing line, we have horizontal line, we have vertical line. So if you have an increasing line, it's a function, right? Because it passed the vertical line test. If you have a decreasing line, it's a function. If you have a horizontal line, it's a function. But if you have a vertical line, it's not a function. Now, every increasing line has a format y equals positive mx plus b. Every decreasing line has a format y equals negative mx plus b. And what's the format for any horizontal line?
Horizontal would be
Y equals a number. Yet y equals a number. So let's say this is our xy plane, and this is a horizontal line. So this is y equals 1. If you draw a horizontal line here, this is y equals negative 2. So every horizontal line has only y, no x. Y equals a number. And what's the format for any vertical line? X equals a number. Now, if you observe all 4 types of equations, what do you see? Do you observe anything? This is a function, this is a function, but this is not a function. So do you see anything? Do you observe anything? Good, but I'm not talking about graph, I'm talking about equations. Yeah, but if you observe the equation, if you look at these equations, what do you see? Like, do you see, I mean, of course you see, but Do you observe any relationship among all these equations? Good. What do you see?
Okay, I see that all the equations are y equals.
Y equals. That's the thing. Y equals, in order to be a function, one of the condition is you have to have y in it. Y equals something. But just because you have y equals something, it doesn't mean it's a function. But it's first condition. Like in order to be a man, first you have to be a human, right? Then you can be a man. But not all human are men. Some human are women, right? Same thing like this. In order, the first condition to be a function is y equals. But just because you have y equals, it doesn't mean it's a function. It's just the first condition. So if you don't have a y, it's automatically not a function. So you have to have y in your equation to be a function. Now, just because you have a y, it doesn't mean it's a function. You have to observe what's the power on the y. If you have y with an odd power, only then it's a function. But if you have a y with an even power, or there is no y, it's not a function. Okay? So just because you have a y, it doesn't guarantee it's a function. But if you have a power add on y, then it's a guarantee that it's a function. So this is a shortcut. Just observe the y and power on the y. But the formal way of identifying whether something is a function or not is as first condition is you can be able to solve for y, like those y equals. So you can be able to write y equals, and when you write y equals something, then for every one x, you can have only one y. If you have multiple y, then it's, if you have multiple y, then it's not a function. So this is formal. You can ignore the formal definition or formal method. Just remember the shortcut. Y with an odd power is a function. Y with an even power or no y at all is not a function. Now that leads at a question: what is odd power? What is odd numbers? What type of numbers are odd? Give some example of odd numbers. Anyone? What numbers are odd numbers? 1, 3, 5, 7, Those are odd numbers. And how about the even? Which numbers are even numbers? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, Now going back to the left page, on this y, what's the power on the y? The y on the left page in the equation, what's the power on the y? 1. When you don't have any power, you have 1 power. So y has invisible 1 power. And is 1 odd or even? Odd. So see, y with an odd power, it's a function. And we do know it's a function because it's a line, increasing line. So all these y, they have 1 power, means they have odd powers. And we already know all 3 examples are functions. So shortcut, if y has odd power, it's a function. If you don't see any y or y with an even power, it's not a function. And guess what? I'm going to ask at least 2 of these in the exam. At least 3. Could be more, but definitely 3. Now some examples. Y equals x squared. Is this a function or not a function? Why do you think it's not a function? What has even number? But what's the condition? The condition says ignore x. Just look at the y. Y is the man. Just look at the man. If man is odd, you like it. If man is even, you hate him. Okay? So y has odd. You know, we like odd things, right? Most people like odd things. They don't like normal things. Like if a normal guy go to you and you're like, I don't like it. But if a bad one or not abnormal, like not normal one talks to you, you feel satisfaction, like, right? This is true, right? Most people feel that. Not all, most. Someone raise their hand for question. Go ahead. No, we don't care about x. To be a function, we don't care about x. So the answer is yes. And then in the exam, they're going to ask why. So the answer you're going to write for your why is because y has odd power. Power means degree. So y has odd power or y has odd degree. So it's a function because we observe the y. Now volunteer for B. Who would like to try B? Go ahead. It's a function, y. True. What's the power on the y? Odd. So y has odd power. That's all we need to do. Yes, no? Why? C. Who would like to try C? Why? Y has odd power. If you write it has odd power, it's wrong because it has odd power, y also has odd power. So which one you are mentioning? Y. So you have to indicate y. If you don't write y, you're not going to get points. Okay? Any reason you have to indicate that you're observing y, not x. Okay, next. About the y?
Yeah, how am I understanding that y is an odd power?
You look at the y. So this is all of these are our y's. Y's, 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 y's. So do you see any power on the y? If you don't see anything, that means you invisible one.
Okay, so the one indicates the odd number.
D. Who would like to try D? Is it a function or not a function? Don't be afraid. Go ahead.
Well, it's not a-
Why not?
um,
It's a vertical line. Vertical line. Or do you see any y? No y. No y means not a function. Now the last one. Would you like to try the last one? X squared plus y squared equals 1. Why not? Good job. Y has even power. See, X is even power, but we didn't care. We only care about Y. Y has even power, so it cannot be a function. So enjoy them in your exam. I'm going to give you at least 3 with 6 points, at least 6 points. 3 points for yes, no, and 3 points for your reasoning. So if you get yes, no wrong, automatically the reasoning gets 0. For example, let's say you get yes and then reasoning, you get 2 points deducted because this one will determine the points for the next one. This may be right, but if this is wrong, what's the point of getting, like, what's the point of your wrong reasoning if you have the answer wrong? I mean, right reason, but the answer is wrong. Like, does it make sense?
I'm in the question.
Around 15. I didn't make it yet, but it should be around 15. And then you have few question partial credit, few no partial credit. And then not multiple choice. Okay, any questions so far? Now let me take attendance. Actually, let me do that sentence after I describe this thing. Now, function notation. So we know y equals something is a candidate for a function. But let's say the people you're working with doesn't know the rule. Okay? So how can you tell them that the equation I'm giving you is a function? And you don't want to waste your time by explaining all these things. Or maybe you also forgot that it's a function. So how do you know which y is a function and which y is not a function? To figure that out, mathematician says, well, whichever y is a function, don't write y, instead write f of x. So if you have a function, let's say y equals x squared, it's a function, right? Because y has add power. But let's say you forgot, is it a function? It's not a function? You don't know. So instead of y, if you see the word f of x equals x squared, it's definitely a function. This f represents being function. So here it's saying that it's a function of x. What? X squared. So x squared is a function in terms of x. This is what it means. So f of x and y, they are the exact same thing. What is y is same thing f of x. But f of x just tells us that the thing we have is a function, and y doesn't tell us directly whether we have a function or not. Okay? So function notation means replace your y with f of x. So when you have a function, we want to see for any x value, what type of y value we get. That's called evaluating a function. So they're going to give you an x value. You're going to substitute in your function for all the x you see, do your algebra, simplify, and then get the y value. For example, this question is saying find f of negative 2 over 5 when f of x is 10x squared plus 4x minus 1. So 10x squared plus 4x minus 1, we don't know the graph of it, but we do know it's a function. How do you know it's a function? Because f of x. F means it's a function. It's a function in terms of x. So they are telling us, hey, I'm giving you x equals negative 2 over 5. You give me what's the y value when all these x you see is negative 2 over 5. So what you're going to do is we are going to write f of negative 2 over 5 is, we are going to keep our structure for this function, but we are not going to write x anymore because they already gave us our x. What is our x? Negative 2 over 5. So every x in the function will not be x anymore when they give us an x value. So this x is here and this x is here. So replace x with these things and now do your algebra. Order of operation. Do you remember what's the order of operation? What operation do you always do first? Parentheses. So we have an expression, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, pandas. So if you have a parentheses, see if you can simplify the parentheses. If you cannot, then see if you have an exponent. If you have an exponent, go work with your exponent, if you can. Once you're done with exponent, then you can do multiplication or division, whichever is given first. Once you're done with that, then you do addition or subtraction, whichever is given first. So in our example here, we have 10 times negative 2 over 5 square. The negative 2 over 5 is just a number you cannot simplify. That means we need to apply the exponent. So we keep our equals, we keep our 10, and we need to rewrite that negative 2/5 square. What does square mean? Multiply your twice. So negative 2/5 times negative 2/5. This is what square means. The whatever we have inside the parentheses, we call it base, and then power. Multiply your base power many times. So you're multiplying here. Negative 2 times negative 2. What do you get? Negative 2 times negative 2. We multiply the numerator, put on the numerator. We multiply the denominator, put on the denominator. What do you get? Negative 2 times negative 2? Positive 4. And the denominator is 25. So the parentheses inside, we get 4 and 25. We do have a parenthesis, negative 2/5. But can you do anything with negative 2/5? Yeah. That's why. We cannot multiply. So rule says do parentheses first, if you can. But there's nothing to do in the parentheses. If you had, let's say, negative 2/5 plus 1 inside the parentheses, then this will come first. The addition will come first. Oh. Because it's inside the parentheses. So you have to have addition or subtraction. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, anything that you can do inside the parentheses. But here, there's nothing we can do. It's only just a number. Okay, then we go to the next ones. We have positive 4 and then negative 2/5. So 4 has an invisible 1 below that. So we are going to multiply positive 4 times negative 2, put on the numerator, and then 1 times 5, put it on the denominator. So what do you get? Times. Positive 4 times negative 2. Negative 8. And the denominator, 5. And then we have a lonely negative 1. So we just bring it down. Any questions so far? Of course not. You do have to simplify all the way to the end. But there is a trick to simplify easily. So we have a multiplication here, right? Parentheses means multiplication. So anytime you're doing some type of multiplication, you can always reduce your multiplication if you have something on the numerator and denominator that is divisible by a number. For example, here, we have 4 on the top, 25 on the bottom. Can we divide 4 and 25 by any number? No. But we still have 10 on the numerator, right? Now, can we divide 10 and 25 by any number? Yes. By what number? 5. So go ahead, reduce. They don't have to be on top of one another. As long as multiplication, you can always cancel something from the numerator and denominator if they are divisible by a common number. So here, they both are divisible by 5, so you can cancel them. Now 5 goes to 10 how many times? Twice. And 5 goes to 25 how many times? 5. And now we have 2 and 4 on the top of the numerator and 5 on the denominator. Can you reduce them anymore? Go ahead. Addition and subtraction doesn't work. Only in multiplication you can cancel. Even in division you cannot cancel. So at the end, after our reducing things, we have 3 and 4 on the numerator and a single 5 on the denominator. So we do the multiplication now. 2 times 4 What do we get? 8. And what is our denominator? 5. So that horrible looking the first term is actually a simple 8/5. And we still have our second negative 8/5 and the lonely -1. And now what do you observe? They cancel out. Positive and negative, they get vanished. So what is our answer? That lonely -1 is the winner. See at the end, who remains the winner, right? So our winner is -1. Everything else, just get rid of. Go ahead. As far as I know, this is the shortest method without using calculator.
Could we also, before multiplying 4/1, 1/4, if we don't remember that the 4 has 100, can we do the same thing that we did with the 10?
The problem is 4 and 5, we cannot cancel them. If it was 40 and 5, we could cancel.
We can't do it with 4 and then 10.
So you can cancel only if one is in the numerator and another number is in the denominator. Then you can cancel. But here, 4 and -3 cannot cancel because they are on the same level. If you're on the same level, you cannot cancel. You have to cancel, their position have to be opposite. For example, whatever is on the numerator, it has more power, right? So when people have more power, they abuse the people who have less power. So we can only abuse our power if one has more and one has less power. But if you're on the same level, it means you have the same power. You cannot kill one another, right? Both of you are same person, same strength. You have the same strength. So I had 3 questions. Whichever is harder, start with that. And then the other 2, you're going to do as homework. So which one do you think is the hardest? Any vote? Fraction? Okay. My morning class said the same thing. So do see here, and you're going to do these 2 for your homework. And you have previously 4 questions for the homework, right? Instead of me taking them today, I'll let my PLT instructors to take them tomorrow. Okay? So bring the 4 questions from before and 2 questions from today, 6 questions tomorrow in your PLTL. Okay? Now let me take your attendance and enjoy that third one. You don't have to do it alone. You can talk to your neighbors. Enjoy, have fun. You know, math is fun as long as you understand. If you don't understand, it sucks. Otherwise, it's really cool. Today is what? 5. Andrea. 6. I maybe pronounce it wrong. Shigozi. Chigozie. No, right? Christina. Christopher. Danielle. Dalvat. Sorry, Devlat. Devlat. Devlat Tukirov. Absent. Dennis. Idaliz. I forgot. It is Idaliz or Idaliz? Idaliz. Jared. J. Luis. Can I just call you J? It's J. Luis, right? J. Luis, okay. So if I forget Luis, I call just J. Joshua, Justin, Caitlin, Kelly, Kyle, Lady, Muntaha, Niari.
You can put my last or
Mora.
Mora.
Okay, so either it's Chari or Mora. Mora or Mona? Ra. Okay. See, your Ra pronounce is different than mine. I cannot pronounce your way. Okay, Nicholas I. Nicholas S. Oresti. Rana. Ricardo. Taz. Yarisbel.
Oh, that's
So Jarisville. Okay. So Niari. Smith, last name Smith. Absent. Zichi. Zichi Gao. Whose name I did not call? What is your name? Chigozi. Okay, Chigozi or Christian. Christian. Chigozi or Christian. Anyone else name I did not call? So let me tell you whom I marked absent. Devlat. Devlat. Idoliz or Idoliz. Idaliz. Niari and Zichi. Zichigao. So 1, 2, 3 absent. Oh, not bad. Only 3. I did not have any perfect attendance so far. It's so sad. Are you guys ready? Volunteer, go ahead. So we are finding f of negative 2/3. So what did you do? And did you put parentheses around them? Okay. So negative 2/3. Negative 2/3. And then what did you do? So we have parentheses. So what did you get? 4/9. So let me do it here. Negative 2/3 square. It's a common mistake. Every semester I see that. So we have 4/9. That's why I like doing it together, so that you guys can fix your mistake. Would you like to keep going? No? Okay. Next volunteer. But we can simplify this.
Yeah. Oh, How was you gonna complete it? And then negative 2.
So we have 3 on the numerator and 3 on the denominator. Kill them. So what is left? Negative 2.
Minus 4.
So this negative 2 comes here. And we have our lonely negative 4.
You simplify the 18 and the 9, it ends in
The
4.
9 and 18. One is in the numerator, one is in the denominator. 9 goes to 18 twice. So we have 2 and 4 on the numerator, and everything else invisible. What is 2 times 4? 8. And would you like to combine these, or do you want to keep bringing them? So if you do combine them, negative 2 minus 4, which is minus 4, okay? Negative 2 minus 4 will give you negative 6. So 8 minus 6, 2. That's our final answer. So if we have 6, what answer you got? Christopher? No, Daniel. With the 6, what answer you got? You released that? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the final exam question. And this also will be in your in-class exam. Exam as well as final. 6. So in the final exam, it's a multiple choice. And you're going to see 6 there. So in the multiple choice, you're going to see wrong answers and right answers. Final. In the in-class exam, I'm not going to give you multiple choice. But in the final exam.
So 2 and the 4 are not, right?
Hmm?
So you don't multiply the 9 by 2.
Where do you see 2 and 4 over 9? Here?
Get the top. Can you explain that quickly?
So we have 18x squared. That means 18 negative 2 over t squared.
Yeah.
So you keep on 18 and then negative 2 squared becomes 4. T squared is 9.
Okay.
So you have 18 times 4 over 9. You can't multiply 18 by 4 divided by 9. But without calculator, you have to use your brain to do that, right? And you have to do the math manually. 18 times 4, you get a big number, divide by 9. So you're going to use, or you're going to waste more time. But exam is timed. So you have to do everything as fast as possible. That's why the shortcut. 18 is on the numerator, but 9 is on the denominator. As long as in a multiplication, you have something on the numerator and something on the denominator that is reducible by a number, we can always cancel them. So 9 and 18, they both are reducible by 9 or divisible by 9. So 18 divided by 9 is 2. 9 divided by 9 is 1, but 1 is invisible. If you want, you can make it visible, but you don't have to.
So for the left side, we did 10 and
25.
Yeah.
So 10 and 25, both of these numbers are divisible by what number?
2.
No, 25 is not divisible by 2. 10 and 25, both are divisible by what number? 5. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Now 5 is visible. We have to make it visible. Only 1 can be invisible. Besides 1, every other number you have after a cancellation, you have to have them visible. Okay?
What at the beginning here when you write the increasing x parentheses negative 2/3, do we have to write that?
You don't have to. I'm writing you to show you that every x you see in your function, all these x becomes negative 2 over 3.
And then also on the final, will the multiple choice will it just have like 2, or is it written like that?
They are going to have 6. So one of them will be 6. So let's option A is 6. Option B, let's say people made another mistake, let's say 7. C is 2. D, in my morning class, I also got negative 2. And then for E, let's say I have negative 6. So you're going to have all these choices. And if you made a mistake, like him, you get 6, you circle, it's wrong. You get -6, you circle, it's wrong. So you have to pick the correct one.
But it won't have like F parentheses X
No.
equals 2 and then 2.
You'll see the exact same question like this and then multiple choice. So your job is to do all these things. They'll give you space to do and then choose the correct choice from the multiple choice. So without correct work, if you pick correct choice, it's wrong.
When it comes to simplifying, I'm kind of lost in it. So can you like explain anything?
No problem. Let me get a page. So let's say have another example. Okay. With a fraction or just simplifying, which one? Okay. So let's say we have f of x is 7x squared minus 2x plus 3. And they are asking you to find f of, let's say, negative, no, 7 is the odd number. It's hard to find a number that is divisible by 7. So let me make it 4. And let's say have negative 1, 10, 3/10. Find how much is f of negative 3/10. So it means you're going to keep your 4x squared minus 2x plus 3. You're going to rewrite everything, but don't write x, instead write parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you get negative 3/10. Negative 3/10. And then you reduce. We have to do the exponent first. So exponent means multiply the same thing twice. So if you multiply negative 3 twice, what do you get? 9. And if you multiply 10, 100. And then the next one, if you want, you can multiply negative 2 and negative 3, but you don't have to. Your goal is to make your life easier. So see that 2, if you're not sure what is in the numerator, denominator, you can always make the denominator 1 visible. So every whole number has a 1 below that. Every whole number. So that 2 has an invisible 1 below. We just made it visible. Now you can clearly see that the 2 is on the numerator, but the 10 is on the denominator. So can you divide 2 and 10 by any number? By 2. So you can easily reduce them. 1 is in the numerator, 1 is in the denominator. Cancel them. We can cancel them by 2. 2 goes to 2 once, and 2 goes to 10 how many times? 5 times. So what we do is we see what remains. We have -1 and -3 on the numerator. Do you see that? -1 and -3, we are multiplying, right? Parentheses means multiplication. So -1 times -3, what do you get? +3. And on the denominator, what do you have? 1 times 5, which is 5.
So essentially, we divide the numerator by the denominator. Take the numerator again and
Multiply. And then we have a lonely 3 with a plus sign. Now we look at this one. This is also a multiplication, fraction with a whole number. But even though 4 is a whole number, it has invisible 1 below that. So is 4 on the numerator or is on the denominator? Numerator. And the 100, is it on the numerator or on the denominator? Denominator. So 1 is on the numerator, the other one is on the denominator, and they both are even numbers. Can you cancel them?
Yeah.
By what number? We can do 2, but we can do even more 2. You can divide 100 by 4, right? But let's say you forgot that you can divide by 4. No problem. You can divide by 2. So 2 goes to 4 twice, and 2 goes to 100 50 times. But again, 2 and 50 both are even numbers. So you can divide even more. Now you can divide both of them by what number? By 2. So the answer is 1 on the numerator and 25 on the denominator. If you can see it's divisible by 4, you don't have to do it twice. But if you don't see it, no problem. Keep reducing it until you get something that is not reducible anymore. So we have 9 on the top and 25 on the bottom. Can you reduce them? Can you divide 9 and 25 by any other number? No. So we stop here. We have that 1 and 9 on the numerator and that 1 and 25 on the denominator. That 1 is invisible, so you don't have to write it down. But if you do write it down, make sure you multiply. So what do we have on the first term? 9 over 25. And on the second term, 3 over 5, and then the whole number 3. Now, this is an example where they don't get canceled out. So we are not lucky. If you're lucky, they will get canceled out. If you're not lucky, you have to keep going on. So we have 2 denominators, 25 and 5. So we cannot combine until when?
We have to make them
Same. So we can only make the smaller one into bigger one. We cannot make bigger one into smaller one. It's impossible, okay? So we can only change the smaller one into bigger one, and then we get the same number. So can you do something on 5? Can you multiply something by 5? So it turns into 25 by 5. So you multiply this denominator by 5, but math is fair. It says, hey, if you multiply the denominator, you have to multiply the numerator. So we multiply by 5 on the numerator. But then we actually have another denominator, right? That 3. 3 has a denominator which is invisible. But since we are combining them, we have to make it visible. Now we want the same 25 here. So what do we do? Multiply by 25. But remember, math is fair. If you multiply the denominator by 25, where do you have to multiply the 25 by? Numerator. And now we are happy. 25 is here, 5 times 5, 25 is here, 25 is here. All the denominators are 25. So we write the 25 once. And we add all the numerators. Did I make any sign mistake anyone? Positive, positive, positive. That means we're just going to add all the numerators. The first one is single, 9. And we are adding 3 times 5, 15. And then the last one, 3 times 25, 75. If you don't know, remember about quarter. 3 quarters gives you how much money? 75 cents. And now you have to add all these numbers without using calculator. 99? Okay, I'm trusting you guys, okay? I'm not doing the math. I'm too lazy to use my brain now. looks like 44. It's not 44, it's 99. 99 over 25. Still looks like 49. Come on, what's wrong with this? You don't need the decimal. In the exam, you're not allowed to use calculator. So no decimal. 99 over 25. So one of these will be in the final. Either you're going to get something easy that cancel everything and get a whole number, or something you're going to really reduce down to. And they like fraction. So most likely you're going to see fraction. Unless they are in a good mood and they want to make your life easier, they're going to give you something like the top two, whole number. So practice the top two tonight at home, bring them tomorrow for PLT later to check. And for this, enjoy them in your homework, my math lab. Any question? So for next Tuesday, your homework, let me get the page here. Insert. Homework for 210, I think. Don't leave, we have one more question to go over. 3.2, 3.3, 3.5, 3.4, 3.5, and we're going to finish 3.6. So 5 homework, and there are 3 quizzes. 3.2 and 3.5 gives you quiz 1 or 2, whatever. 3.2 and 3.3 gives you quiz 2. And then you have quiz 4, 3.6. So 5 homeworks, 3 quizzes due next week, Tuesday midnight. If you haven't done them already. If you already done them, you're fine. But if you did not, then 8 homework and quizzes. I'm not sure actually. But definitely 3.2 and 5 combined to 1. 3 and 4 combined to 1. So 5 homework, 3 quizzes for Tuesday midnight. And for tomorrow, you have 2 questions from today and 4 questions from last week and last class. Put them together and then don't leave. I still have that question to go over. Quiz number 1 or quiz number 2? One of them. I don't know which one. I just forgot. But quiz 1, 2, and 3. Do them and homework, the first 5 homework. Okay, now the last question for today is a new type of function. It's called absolute value. So if you have y equals absolute value sign, these 2 bars, we call them absolute value. And it's a function because y has even power. So y has odd power. So it's a function, it's absolute value. Its graph looks like V. So it passed vertical line test. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The thing is they're saying, hey, I'm giving you an absolute value function, 2x minus 1 inside the absolute value. Now you tell me the y values for every x value I'm giving you. First x value I'm giving you is -2. So what absolute value does is something cool. It takes the math, it takes the number, does all those algebra thing inside, and then spits out a number. The number it spits out is always positive, always. The variable may not be positive, but the resulting number will always be positive. So in this example, we have absolute value 2 times -2 minus 1. Now we are going to do the math just like before, doing algebra. Do you do 2 times -2 or do you do -2 minus 1? Which operation comes first? 2 times -2, the multiplication. What is 2 times -2? -4. and you're subtracting -1. What is -4 minus 1? -5. So we have -5 inside our absolute value machine, but it spits out what? +5. Even though inside the machine it has something negative, but when it talks, it only talks about positive things. So it's a very good machine. We wish we have this in our tongue.
+5. Make the number positive at the end.
You're going to lose points. If you don't spit out the positive results, you're going to get half points only. Now the next x value they want you to substitute is 1/2. 1/2. So 2 times 1/2 minus 1. What is 2 times 1/2? Basically half of 2. 1. And what is 1 minus 1? 0. And when it spits out 0, what do we get? 0 without any sign. Now the last number it wants us to substitute is 7. So 2 times 7 minus 1. What do you get? What is 2 times 7? And we have 14 minus 1, 13. And when it spits out the 13, it's still 13 without any sign. So if I have space in your exam, then I may put this in the exam. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to substitute your x, do the math inside, and then spits out a number without the negative sign. And also, I think this is in your homework. So enjoy doing your homework, guys. Start doing 2.6. You don't have to finish it. You can finish it Tuesday midnight. Tomorrow, we are going to keep doing 2.6, and most likely we'll be able to finish it. So have a good day. Don't forget your appeal till tomorrow. Okay.
I hope it.
It's okay.
Also, I'm lining up today because I got a hand. Is it like all the homework activities you do?
Are you guilty? You're not the guilty leader. Oh, she's guilty leader.
And
Right. So I said that do it last Tuesday midnight, but then I seen few students did not have my method yet. So for all of you, I extended a date to Tuesday midnight next week.
thank you so much. That's all I need.
Mhm.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm having problem with my map.
MATLAB.
I don't know if it's something that I need a code to enter.
So what type of problem you are facing?
I don't find like the code of the class.
Here is the code.
I was looking for, once you put on the link in the brace page, so it's going to say to it.